couldn't really get the game, but loved the vibes. And I was like, where are the vibes going to be tonight? They're going to be Nathan Phillips Square. So we're here for the vibes.
Everybody's just bonding over this moment, and it's just like it's amazing to experience, especially just in the climate that we're living in. And it's not very often that you're finding this, so it's just amazing to see that everybody's coming together.
2015, 2016 were great, but this is the World Series. The World Series, there's nothing more. It's a dream come true being here.
Yep.
Yeah, let's go.
To be here is like absolutely a dream come true, a bucket list thing for us.
Welcome to another episode of Culture Alchemy. You know who I am, Antoinette. But today I'm joined with a very special guest. And when I say very special guest, I mean like for real, very special. Me and him go way back. In fact, we were trying to figure it out. But John, I think we've known each other since elementary school.
Yes, I believe we go back all the way to grade 3, my first elementary school there, Monsignor Leo Cleary. Yes, it's been, we've known each other close to 35 years. It's insane, actually, when I think about it.
It actually is insane. That's why I'm so happy to talk to you, because the worlds have collided in this beautiful way, because I have been talking to Jays fans on the street throughout the whole World Series run. But I'm so happy to have you here now because obviously you're going to have a very different perspective because you're not just a Jays fan. You're like, for me, when I was thinking, who could I speak to who epitomizes Jays fandom? Your name came up for me right away. I thought of you instantly. I mean, you are the ultimate fan, and you were field level basically for every single one of the postseason games, right?
Yes, so we were no farther back than the 8th row, right beside the Jays bullpen for every single postseason game. We didn't miss one home postseason game.
That is so wild.
I would do it all over again, even knowing the results. It was just quite the time to be a part of something like that.
Oh, I can't even imagine, man. And how did the energy feel at the actual stadium?
The energy levels. So, I mean, sure, at times it was, mountains and valleys, but the mountains were incredibly high. Like the atmosphere and the feeling in there is exactly just that. Like I felt it when I was in there. When you've got 50,000 ravenous fans going nuts because, Bo Bichette has come up and smacked one out of the park, and it's just it did the camaraderie, the fans, everybody slapping high fives, the hugs. It was incredible, very incredible.
I can't even imagine. Like I went down to Nathan Phillips, just watching it outside, just being in the vicinity and even walking around, the center. It was electric. So I can't even imagine what it was like to be in there. And you mentioned Bo Bichette. Would you say he's your favorite player?
He is definitely one of my favorite players. He's been one of my favorite players, and can't lie, up until this season. It's not that he's been not my favorite player anymore, but I've really taken a liking to Addison Barger. He is by far one of my favorite up-and-coming players, and I've been paying extra close attention to him all season and watching what he's been doing. And I believe the progress that he made just in this season, he's going to be another player of like the caliber of Bo Bichette soon enough. So I think the Jays have got an amazing player in Barger, and watching him play throughout the season, the early season, the mid-season, the late season, to seeing what he was able to do in the postseason, incredible. He went from I guess you can say like not such a high profile name to the amount of Barger jerseys that I seen during the postseason in the stadium. Amazing.
That's such a good point, because even as I was watching, some of the plays he made are some of the most memorable for me as well, too. Like, he is so clutch in the outfield, and I kind of didn't know where he kind of came from. Suddenly, it was just like he was just really fun to watch. This team is a really special team, and we'll definitely get into the dynamics of the team, because I think that's one reason why people were so really so enthralled with the whole series as well. And we'll get to that, because I do have a question about the whole team dynamic and what makes this team so special. But I want to start just with the basics here, because obviously, you're a big fan. And
Yes.
the season has meant a lot to a lot of people. But I kind of want to know, what did this season particularly mean to you?
So, man, this season, I mean, I guess you could say it was like a long lost family reunion mixed with like maybe like the best therapy sessions of my life. Like, been a Jays fan even before like the Carter swing in '93, but especially then. I mean, through the dark ages of the Jays, and there's been a few, the fire sales, the endless rebuilds, but the 2025 run. I mean, I felt like it healed something deep. Personally, it reminded me of like why I showed up, and not just for the wins, but just for the fight, just to watch them come together as a team and do what they did. Amazing. Like watching Vlad and Bo grind the way they did, push into Game 7. I mean, yeah, it just reignited the kid in me for sure. And like, I mean, the extra inning heart attacks they kept giving me. Oh, dear Lord. The team was, I don't know, they gave me back that pure shared joy, I guess you can say. Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah. Well said, man. That's beautiful. I was going to ask you, what do you mean by therapy? But I think you just wrapped that up really nicely. Like, it took you to a childlike place. That's what I'm kind of
For
hearing.
sure.
That pure,
Absolutely.
unbridled
Like,
joy.
while I was there, that's exactly the perfect way to put it. Unbridled joy. It was the laughs, the moments, everything. It was amazing. Yeah, I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Oh man. So I mean, I've got to imagine there are so many different moments. And I know even for those of us who may have been watching from home, we probably have a moment, a highlight. I mean, the Springer Dinger stands up for sure. That's one of those big
Oh,
time moments. Obviously Bo Bichette had some massive plays, but was there one moment that you'll never forget from the postseason?
yeah. Bottom of the ninth, Game 7, ALCS against Seattle, down to 1, bases juiced with 2 outs, dome's on fire, everybody's on their feet, and Bo Bichette steps up like he's got ice in his veins. First pitch, fouls it straight back. Crowd grasps. I grasp. Second, he rips a grounder through the hole to the right. Game over, walk off. We're World Series bound. Like, I lost my voice for 3 days, and just the how loud the crowd was. My hearing was even gone until I would say the next afternoon, where the ringing stopped in my ears. That celebration alone was probably one of the happiest moments that I can remember experiencing in baseball.
Oh wow. Unreal.
Yeah.
But then again, I feel you on that, because even when I was talking to people on the street, there was something that was really a common thread in all the conversations. Like, I talked to a group of young boys, who they can't even remember the 92, 93 run. They weren't even alive, but they were really bonded with their parents through baseball. So their dad, used to watch, and now their dad is watching with them. And there's something about that community that's built with sport that's so powerful. And I kind of want to ask you, because again, going back to, what you were kind of saying about the energy at the Rogers Center, like, what, I mean, let's face it, some of us, you know, happily jumped on the bandwagon once we saw, the run.
Absolutely.
And some of you were there from, as you said, I love how you say, like, it went through that dark kind of period. There were some times when maybe we were kind of in a building phase where it wasn't as exciting, but the community around the Jays has been a phenomenal thing to watch. And I'm curious, what do you think it is about this particular team that really, really, really excited people?
So I would say the players, like the players that want to be a part of Toronto, really resonates with the fans. Like with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. signing his big contract this year. I'm sure they're going to sign Bo Bichette this season. Like, I'm sure they're going to renew his contract. It's this particular group of players I found, like, I don't know how to say. I guess you could say I feel like I don't even know. Like watching these guys, out there. I mean, you see so many other teams. You see what they do in their dugouts for their celebrations and everything. When you watch the Jays, when you see Vladimir Guerrero making sure every one of his teammates has been praised for every little bit that they give to this team. He's there at the beginning of the dugout, at the end of the dugout to make sure he's celebrating with his teammates, the highs, the lows. It's the camaraderie, I think, resonates with the fans that you see with the Jays. They look like they're a bunch of like brothers, like little kids going out playing t-ball for the first time, just happy to be there, happy to be on the field together as a group. This particular group, I feel, has done that. They make fans want to watch them and want to be fans.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. The camaraderie. There's something like it's a family. Like I kind of look at each one of them, and they all play this particular role. And I found that was something that was really common as well as I was talking to other people, and also just my vibe off this particular team. It's a special team. And another thing that I think I heard a lot, and I'm curious to hear your perspective on this, because obviously everyone loves a story. We love heroes, we love villains, we love to put people in these characters. I'm even guilty of it myself. I'm pretty sure you would have heard people comparing this series with the Dodgers as a David and versus Goliath story. I'm just curious to know your perspective. Do you think that was a fair assessment of these two teams?
I mean, I think people making those assessments, I mean, you've got the Ohtani effect. That I think mainly is where this comes from. Yes, we are witnessing one of the greatest players to ever play the game. There is no doubt about that. Would I rather see him as a Blue Jay? Sure. But I think just the aura around Ohtani, and also let's not joke around, the money that LA spends on their team, it was over double Toronto's salary, I believe, for the season.
Wow.
So I can see where some pundits might get that David versus Goliath, but when you're there in the stands watching this team play, they're no David. They, like, to us, they're the giant, and they were going up against. Sure, they can be called a giant because of the Ohtani effect, the money they spend on players, fill in their ranks with like the best of the best, or so they think. And then you've got our Jays team who played with heart and grit and came together as a team and showed what you can do as a team without the money, without that Ohtani, your superstars. We have a team full of stars, and they all came together.
Absolutely. And it's a team, as you said, it's a team sport, not based on one player. So, yeah. So I guess then did you have any thoughts on what Jason Kelsey was saying? So for those who may not know, he was on his brother Travis's podcast, The Heights, was talking about this World Series. Now, he kind of took a dookie on Toronto for reasons I still don't really understand. But basically he said, and I'm going to quote him, he said, baseball sucks because you just buy World Series championships. It's the dumbest thing in the world.
So you're telling me I'm supposed to get excited about a Canadian baseball team and a team that just spends more money than everybody else? Who the cares?
What do you think about his comments in light of what we were just talking about with the money that LA spent?
So I mean, he's a championship winning football player. I think it's apples trying to talk about oranges, but I can see, like, when you throw money at a problem, a lot of problems go away when you throw money at it. But I mean, they were this close, and I mean, in Game 6 to losing, and this close in Game 7 to losing. So buying a World Series, I mean, to me, I think that it's just kind of like an out-of-pocket statement that makes no sense. I don't think you can buy a World Series. LA has a shred of evidence that you might be able to have some purchase power towards getting that trophy, but the Jays proved it's not about money. It's not about money at all. It's about how you play the game. It's about how your players go out there and how hard they play at their positions.
Absolutely. And although ultimately the Jays didn't win the series, one could argue that the city and maybe even the country, I would think, still gained something. And so I'm curious, from your perspective, what did they achieve for for Toronto, for Ontario, for the country as a whole?
So, I mean, for the country, what I saw personally in that stadium was camaraderie, new friendships, new relationships being made everywhere you looked. Everybody was there to celebrate the highs and the lows together. I mean, it was exciting, exhilarating. It was the feelings I can't say I've ever had before. Watching them win Game 7, those emotions. I mean, of the ALCS. Obviously, the heartbreak at the end of Game 6 and Game 7, but to me, it brought this country together when this country needed to be brought together the most, especially with the divides that are out there in our country right now.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It was a really well, you used therapy before. Let me stick with that. It was really healing. I think for a lot of people it was healing. And I agree with what you said earlier as well. The David versus Goliath kind of narrative. What I will take away from that though, and what I kind of do think is what I'm hearing you say is that, yeah, this team had so much heart. It's like there's something that they kind of kickstarted in all of us that we were fiercely proud of the one Canadian team up against all these other teams where, yes, they had the star power, they had the money infusion, but this team still managed to show people like that. At the end of the day, it's about the game and the heart and the grit you bring to the game. And I think that's a very relatable thing for a lot of us. If we think we are up against, the Goliaths, like I think that's very much part of it. And what you said about just the general atmosphere in the world right now is so divisive that bringing people together is just in of itself is a beautiful thing, right? So I love that.
I mean, who doesn't love an underdog story too?
Right.
The coming up against LA, coming in from like almost last place at the beginning of the season, tearing it up throughout the whole season to get into the postseason there the way they did, the end of the season, neck and neck with the Yankees, having to win every single game because the Yankees were winning every single game. It was just every little bit leading up to the postseason was just exhilarating.
Okay, so I do have a few more questions before we wind down here, but I would be absolutely remiss, and I know there's going to be somebody out there who's screaming at me, you got to ask him this question. Okay, so you were there for every game. So that game that went to was it inning 18? You were there for that?
That was in LA.
Bitter end? Okay.
That particular game was in LA.
Rogers Center watching it?
No, I didn't go to the Rogers Center for the watch parties. I watched those ones from the couch. Unfortunately, the one thing I had going for me, the one thing that the Jays did for me was they got home field advantage throughout the whole postseason. That was very conducive to my work schedule. Otherwise, I would have been going to baseball games Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesday evenings. Instead, we got to be weekend warriors for the whole month of October.
Meant to be, dude.
Yes.
Meant to be. Yeah. I had to ask that. It's like, how the heck did you pull that off that you're able to go? So that's interesting to know.
I still stayed up to watch the 18-inning game. Very tired the next morning for work. Very tired.
Dude, I did too. And I have to say, everybody I work with was watching, and you could tell because everybody was coming in blurry eyed. Everyone looked like zombies. Everyone was also excited though too. And so I think that's another thing it did is that it actually changed the nature of even corporate policies changed to allow people to bring in, wear your jerseys. And it was a non-starter. Everybody was a Jays fan for that period. So it was such a beautiful thing.
Literally brought this country together.
It did. It did. And okay, so you know what? Another question I have. I'm curious from your perspective because I know people who were there I was there actually when the Raptors won in 2019 and the huge celebration in the city. And maybe it's hard to compare again, apples and oranges, different sport and all that, and a different time right now that we're living in as well as Canadians. What do you think would have happened had the Jays won that last game? What do you think the streets would have been like? What would the energy have been like? Yeah, let me stop there. What do you think would have happened?
I would like to think that the energy that was inside the Rogers Center for Game 7 of Seattle when we took that game. I think that energy would have poured onto the streets, and it would have been one of the biggest, best parties that Toronto has seen since '93. Easily, hands down. I feel like the camaraderie and the community would have held up outside of the stadium afterwards. I mean, sure, there was a lot of intoxicated and fans in a way, and I feel like the celebration, it would have been something. It would have been something for this city, and this province, and this country for sure. I mean, we still feel like we won something. We still feel like the Jays should be getting a parade. That's what they did for the city. So, yeah.
Yeah. Now that's interesting you say that too, because I think it kind of leads to my next question, which is if you could speak to the Jays right now, let's say they're watching this podcast, what would you want to say to them right now?
So if I could speak to the whole team right now, I mean, Vladdy, Bo, Kirk, Barger, the whole squad, from one blue bleeder to you Warriors. I mean, you guys just didn't play a game. You resurrected all of the fans here in Toronto. The American League Championship grind, staring down Seattle's arms 7 times, nothing but heroic. Like pushing the Dodgers to the brink, stealing games in their stadium and bringing it back to Toronto for us was legendary. Yeah, Game 7 slipped away, but you made a whole country feel alive again. And it just, there was happiness in the stands. There was tears in the stands. You are Toronto's heartbeat. And we've waited 32 years for this. So one more winter isn't going to break us. You know, we love you guys, and just win us this trophy next year. That's what us fans need. That's what we would love to see you guys do.
Well said. And let's end on this. If there's one word that you would use to describe this season, what would it be?
Amazing. Unforgettable.
John, thank you. Thank you for just sharing your passion, your love for the game, for the team. I really, really am so glad that we were able to connect. And actually, this is a perfect example of what you were saying. Like the reason why we actually connected, the team brought us back together.
1000%. It's amazing. It was amazing to hear from you. And it was my pleasure to do this. Absolutely. Thank you.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine. All right. So thank you so much for joining us, John. For all of you listening out there, watching, thanks for joining us as well. And before you go, don't forget to like, to subscribe, do all the things that help a podcast grow. And until next time, stay curious.